Hello everyone. Today I am going to give an introduction to graph theory. Graph theory is a very important application level mathematical subject which is mainly used in computer science. So first let's see what a graph is. We will begin with the definition of simple graph. A simple graph notation is capital G consists of two different sets, capital V and capital E. Capital V is the set of vertices and capital E is the set of edges. We'll see what vertices and edges are. This is an example of a graph, a simple graph, and you can see there are A, B, C, D, E and F. These are the vertices and the line segments that run between different vertices are the edges. As you can see, A and B, two vertices, are connected by an edge, and so is B and C. It is connected by another edge. But if you check, A and F are not connected by any edges. So we can say there is no edge connecting A and F. In this session, we will see different types of graph, which are some basic graphs. The first one is multigraph. As the name suggests, multigraph means there are multiple edges connecting the same two vertices. As you can see in this example, we take the vertices V1 and V4. There are two edges connecting V1 and V4. They are E4 and E5. And upon checking the rest, it's all okay. None of them are multiple edges, just simple graph. But even if there is one set of multiple edges, the entire graph becomes a multigraph. That is, multigraph is a graph which contains multiple edges between any two vertices. Next type of graphs are pseudographs. Pseudographs contains multiple edges and a new notation also, which is called loops. Loops are the edges which connect a vertex to itself. As you can imagine what a loop is. You can see that in this example. Look at the vertex D and the vertex L. There is a loop, that is an edge which starts from D and travels around and reaches D itself. And here it starts from L, travels around and reaches L itself. That is, the vertices associated with this edge is L. Similarly, the vertex associated with this edge is D. Just from D to D, we can say. But there is no need for saying in such a way. We can just say this is a loop. So, when a graph consists of loops as well as multiple edges, in this case there is no multiple edges, but still it contains two. Therefore, this graph is called a pseudograph. Next type, and it is entirely different from what we have discussed so far, is the directed graph. The directed graph means, as the name suggests, it has a direction. And this direction is upon the edges. That is, the edge starts from one vertex and ends in another. These types of graphs are called directed graphs. And there are two vertices associated with an edge, as we have already seen. But there is an order among these vertices. It remains in the ordered pair U, V. That is, the vertex U is the starting point and V is the ending point. This is known as the initial vertex U and V is the terminal vertex, which simply means the edge starts from U and ends at V. So the graphs which contains directions in the edges is called directed graph. This is an example of a directed graph. As you can see, there are 9 vertices and all the edges have directions. On taking an example, I am taking the vertex 5. So you can see there is an edge from 5 to 4 and the direction is from 5 to 4. 5 is the initial vertex, 4 is the terminal vertex. And in this example, this is a multiple edge. It has a multiple edge as well. That is, the edge 4 is starting from 4 and ending at 5. There are multiple edges here as well, and you can see the arrowhead is pointing from, for example, here it is from 6 to 9, which means there is a directed edge from 6 to 9. This shows the direction. The arrowhead shows the direction. And this is an example of a directed graph. Also, since there are multiple edges present, this is a directed multigraph. Even loops can be present in directed graphs. It just starts from one vertex. I'm just taking an example. It's not here. You can just imagine it. Okay. It starts from 6, and we take a loop. It ends at 6 itself. In case of loop, the direction actually doesn't matter, since it begins at one vertex and ends at itself. So this is an example of a directed multigraph, and these are the main types of graph that we have to learn. All these things that we have learned in this session can be summarized into this table. That is, you only have to learn this table to understand what a simple graph, a directed graph, multigraph or pseudograph means. As you can see, the first one is simple graph. A simple graph is undirected. Of course, it doesn't have any direction. It doesn't have any multiple edges. It doesn't have any loop. So this is the definition of simple graph. You can learn it from this table itself. The next one is multigraph. A multigraph obviously is undirected, but it has multiple edges but no loops. Loops come in case of a pseudograph. So a pseudograph is undirected, but it has multiple edges as well as loops. This means it can have multiple edges, but it should definitely have loops. Then only it becomes a pseudograph. Finally, simple directed graph has direction, and next one itself is directed multigraph. Simple means it doesn't have multiple edges or loops, but multigraph means it can have edges or loops. So in case of directed multigraph, it has both edges, multiple edges and loops. But if it's simple, it doesn't have any of these two. But it obviously has direction. It is a directed graph. So upon learning this table, you can easily summarize all the slides that we have learned so far. And this forms the basic building structure of graph theory. I hope you understand what a graph means and all these definitions means. Then you can easily understand the other parts of the graph theory. I hope you had a wonderful session. Thank you.